the concept of forever, like even our grandest goal and our ideas that will last eternities still don't last infinitely.
Hello, I'm NliteN. You're tuning into The Den, presented by GoodCompany.
Because what you're saying, that's an entirely different approach to rap music.
I'm JCT. Welcome to The Den.
Like you're talking, you're literally on the guitar, playing the guitar.
If I drop a project and it doesn't get, like, people listen to it and they don't share, like they don't feel obligated to listen again or share the experience, I feel like I've missed the mark.
Are you afraid of what you're capable of?
My biggest moment of feeling of breakthrough was an idea that we can all live freely.
All right, let's start at the beginning. All right, we're here with NliteN. Want to say hello to your fans?
So, fans.
Hello, world. All right, so today's program, we're talking a little bit about the myth of NliteN. It's yet to come together, kind of coming together as we speak. So we're going to chit-chat a little bit with NliteN today and hopefully come to some conclusions.
True.
What's up, NliteN? How you doing?
We're doing all right.
Good, I'm glad. How's the weather treating you? I guess summer's actually over.
Not quite.
Really?
The calendar is what? Summer's not over till 21st.
Well, yeah,
September?
calendar, but the weather's, the weather's going to be 70 degrees for the rest of the week. Yeah. Warmest day on Thursday. Crazy.
Crazy.
Okay, so got some questions for you. You're going back to school, right?
Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
It's another transition.
Positive or?
Definitely positive.
Let's talk a little bit about NliteN and enlightenment, because I know you've done like a bunch of like radio interviews and stuff like that, and typically people don't really ask you about your name, which I find interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird.
They ask you about the music, and they ask you about who you're performing with, and they ask you about what you're going to do next, and you always have a great answer for them, but no one ever asks you why you chose the name NliteN of all names.
Is there a question?
Why did you choose the name? Yeah.
She was in the shower. I think that's as much as I've had to explain it, to be honest.
Yeah, you always talk about the shower where no one else can really follow you. You know what I mean?
True. Weird.
Isn't that weird?
Interesting concept.
Do you know why you chose the name?
I think that's like, the shower is the time when you have to kind of like meditate and think about just your thoughts and kind of be flooded in your privacy. Which is weird because I've also like always toyed around with that concept of the flood and like Noah's Ark. That was like the first song I ever made. I don't know if NliteN has anything to do with that. I don't know. I think I definitely have some more research to do about the name, but like I can't deny that it's a fit.
Right. Because there's strength in a name, you know?
Truly.
So every rapper you know, you're a rapper, right?
Yes, sir.
Every rapper you know chooses their name based upon some internal sentimentality. You know what I mean? And then that name is supposed to get them through the next however many years of their career. So it's like kind of like a coming of age moment. It's like a rite of passage, like a rapper choosing their name, a rapper getting their chain. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's what people will come to know you as.
But the chain usually comes from someone else. The name is more or less like self-given, self-proclaimed, or something like that.
Do you feel like you were given your name before your chain?
Before my what?
Your chain, like you gave yourself your name before someone gave you the chain, or do you feel like someone gave you the ability to rap and you gave yourself a name and now you're trying to understand who you are with, you know, the accomplishments that you've already achieved?
True. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's more so like NliteN is kind of just like the pool.
It's like ultimate understanding.
The concept, yeah.
The word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just the pool that everything kind of swims in. Like, I created this concept, and everything that happens now has to filter through the lens of enlightenment or enlightenment.
Are you concerned about how much you know or how much you understand? Because a rapper with the name enlightenment would either be unconcerned about it or totally concerned about it. continuing to understand?
I think I concern myself with that name as much as. Have you ever created a name for yourself?
I was given my name. That's why I said about the given. Someone gives you the chain, you know. But Kanye West was Kanye West before Jay-Z gave him the chain, you know.
True.
So I'm always looking at rappers like a rapper is to me a member of a tribe, right?
Yeah.
So like you said, you name yourself, and then you get your chain from your chief, you know. So someone with a name as powerful as NliteN. NliteN has a lot to do with like being solitary and being one-on-one with yourself, you know.
True.
So who's giving you the chain? Especially with like, if I'm not assuming that you don't understand the name, but I'm wondering if you do, or like how much you understand about your name.
Is there a concern?
What do you mean, like should the world know who NliteN is? Yeah, I think so. I think because of the kind of music that you make, it becomes important to know the man behind the music. But if there is a concern with who the man behind the music is, then it's like, where is this coming from? You know what I mean?
I think it's just like point the camera at me, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Kind of, but also I feel like you've been in interviews before. I've watched your interviews before, and people are like, oh, he's a college student who named himself NliteN.
Well,
right there is the seeking of understanding. You know what I mean?
In college.
Well, I feel like you're giving it up to your audience to try to understand for themselves. Yeah. But I think it's time for you to like. The reason I'm asking is it's time for you to like tell them what you understand. You know.
Tell them that I understand, or what I understand.
That which you understand.
Sure. I think listen to the music for starters. Like that's something I've openly shared. Hasn't been the easiest, but I've just shared a whole project of that concept.
How's the reception?
It's been good. I've received more messages and congratulations than I ever have. I've received more just support and people saying, I had a friend who said he was asking me for advice about how to get music on blogs, and then after it was over, he was like, and congrats on the album, one of us makes it, we all make it. And from my perspective, I'm here being NliteN music, creating the music and releasing it. I'm not putting myself in any kind of I can feel a trajectory, but I'm not living in that. I think I'm living more so in the music than I am in the pushing and pulling of the tides.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I think that, so me and my friend sat in the car yesterday and listened to the whole album all the way through, and people are apprehensive about forming a judgment about it.
Yeah, it's weird.
But it's really good. I sat there at the end of it, was this is awesome. This is good music. But I think that the artist behind, the reason I'm even asking, because I feel like the artist behind the music also needs to be able to make his or her audience feel comfortable with what they're hearing, you know? You're making a promise to them, I'm about to enlighten music. I'm going to drop some shit on y'all that you literally have never even thought of before. Or it's stuff that you think about all the time and you have a hard time admitting to yourself, which is the vibe that I got in the car with him. He was just I'm going to play this all the time. There's no reason for me not to play this all the time. It makes sense in my head. I'm going to do it. And it's free. I'm just doing it on SoundCloud. Yes, of course. But there's no reason to get excited about it because he doesn't sound excited. He just sounds like he's spitting facts. You know what I mean?
I feel like you're allowed to experience.
I was excited.
I think you're allowed to experience it. I feel like it's become such a culture and music and distribution to be project done, share, move it to the next person, share, give it to the next person, explain yourself. I think it should be also okay to freely express and share at the end of that expression, and then allow people to whoa, I think I'm gonna listen to this once and be hella confused, or I think I'm gonna listen once and I had people yo, congratulations on the album. I'm really gonna dive in and try to understand what this is about, regardless of whatever the purpose behind that motive is. If that's what you feel doing when you get it, dive all the way in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the conclusion that you come to.
Yeah.
Cool. That's fantastic. Because I know that you're also picking up, like right now you're playing the guitar, right? Like we're sitting here talking, you're literally on the guitar, playing the guitar, your phone's going off and stuff. So I think it's important for you as a new artist to like know exactly how you want to move forward in order to get to your destination, right?
Truly.
There is a destination in mind.
Yes.
Okay. And you know what that looks like.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Are you prepared to share that with your audience, or is that something that you need them to come to their own conclusions about?
I can say what it looks like in my head. I think the concept of conclusions is also kind of weird. It's like, how do you? That's the album is called NFiNiT, and this was like everything in my brain going like all kinds of crazy and trying to conceptualize something that I now named infinite, which is like more than any human, like especially the human, like a planet barely has a concept for what is infinite. A human lives on a planet and dies on a planet. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, yes, Mom? Sure. Yeah, I can do that. Got you. Pop sleep. But yeah. So what conclusion looks like in my brain is like some freedom and space. I keep toying around with this concept of like a house with a barbecue on the back porch and like a small in-ground pool and like a studio where I can like bug out and play music and invite friends over and make stuff with like a view of a lake and a mountain. And I think that's like a very feasible human goal. But like in the concept of forever, like even our grandest goal and our ideas that will last eternities still don't last infinitely.
So you're trying to make a name for yourself as like a philosopher, not even just a rapper. Is that what I'm hearing?
A philosopher.
That's what it sounds like. You sound like you're stating some like modern day philosophical knowledge. Like you're not talking about going out on the street and killing somebody. You're not talking about going to somebody's house and robbing everybody. You've done some photo shoots in the past. Like I've been following along, obviously. But you've done some photo shoots in the past where like you kind of cited like a Clockwork Orange a little bit, which is a whole other way to approach rap music. And I think that's also hella innovative because that's going to inspire a whole other generation of artists to do the same thing. But like, what are you? How are you communicating with your audience? You know what I mean? Like, who is NliteN? I hear it, it's there, but I'm just like, I want to know as a fan.
Who is NliteN? NliteN is not a priest, not a monk, it's just like a practitioner. It's like someone who practices.
A practitioner?
Practitioner is a good word.
Of what? What is NliteN a practitioner of?
I guess music first and foremost. Like thought, sport, politics.
Do you know?
Relation. I think it's like.
Or are you still searching for it?
I think the search is forever.
I find it interesting too, and I don't know what the audience will say to this.
Yeah, me neither.
But even in hearing you discuss it, you'll get so close to it, and then you'll run yourself around. Like it's like standing there on the corner, and you'll run around the other side of the building. You know what I mean?
Well, I told you about that time when I was like meditating, and then I like was like thinking about like feeling the air. When you meditate, you like, breathe in, you breathe out, and you feel like the air fill your lungs. And I was like breathed in and took like I call it like the best breath I ever took. And I like inhaled and felt like the air in my lungs, and like literally felt like I could hold it forever. And like whether you're not, like I think some people would think this is kind of corny, but like I swear I could have held that breath to forever. Like I sat there and I just like was like losing consciousness or something like that. And like I saw like a light, and then I got kind of scared, and I took a breath. Like I exhaled, and I was like, all right, back on planet Earth. And then I hit you up, and I hit a car, and I was just like, shit was crazy.
I think that's impressive, but also, I don't know, this is my personal opinion, I don't know how invested you are in the effect that you're having on your audience. You want to have a great experience. You want to go back and tell someone else that you've had that experience. But now you've released an album, which is you telling a lot of people about experiences that you've had across the board, but you don't seem ready to take the responsibility for the experiences that you've already had. You seem ready to jump to the next set of experiences. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which I find interesting because an artist craves that attention. You know what I mean? An artist will release an album and then go on this crazy promotional campaign to make sure every person in America knows that they just went through these experiences. It's vain and it's trivial and it makes no common sense, but it works.
Yeah, I think it's got something to do with like connection. Like if I drop a project and it doesn't get like people listen to it and they don't share, like they don't feel obligated to listen again or share the experience, I feel like I've missed the mark in what I was trying to do. So then I'll like pick up something else. So I'll like.
Are you afraid of what you're capable of?
Possibly. I don't even. That's a loaded question. I'm afraid of what I'm capable of.
Because it sounds like you're like, I'm gonna set a new precedent for rap music, and then in the next breath, it's like, I don't know that I'm even supposed to be doing this. And then the next breath is like, why am I worried about what other people think? And the next breath is like, I gotta make sure everybody on Instagram knows that I'm like, it's like this constant duality. You know what I mean? It's like spanning back and forth. Does that kind of thinking inhibit the process?
I think I'm trying, like my spirit wants to move forward, but I'm like stuck here. Mm-hmm. I'm like super stuck here.
Do you write about that? Do you make music about that?
I need a getaway. Yeah, I think I do. I just want to fly. All I need is time. No, I'm on the rise. Still afraid of God. Keep him by my side. I'm needing my mind. Fuck your foolish pride. Like that's all in there.
What's the song after Fly?
Land. This is your land. I'm sorry if you don't understand. Assume this is your land. That's where you at, bro.
So what's the next song?
Remember Me. It's like, if I could. Oh, that's cool because that's also the chorus is song written by Swan. So it's, if I could. Oh, every day I'm making the verses. Every day I'm making tracks. Doesn't mean you should follow in my footsteps. Still want to follow in my path. Turn a stepping stone to a footrest. Be gone when I look left. It's like it's me walking, saying like, this is the path that I've chosen. You don't necessarily have to follow in it, but like understand that this is the way I go.
What's the next song?
Moonflower, and it's like it ends with it's like a verse. No, you ain't no angel. No, you ain't cute. Trying to approach from all these different angles. It's like I rationalize it as like a verse where I'm speaking on behalf of God, saying like, you're trying this whole time to escape and be in heaven, and like, but you're not an angel. You're human. Like, you know, you ain't cute. Trying to approach from all these different angles.
Who's you? Who's the audience that you're speaking to?
Who's you? I think you is me in this case. Like, no, you ain't no angel. No, you ain't cute. Trying to approach from all these different angles, like heaven.
So you're holding this mirror up to your own experience, watching yourself fly, watching yourself land, watching yourself. What was the
Getaway.
Well, after land is getaway. Remembering your landing, and then testifying to the world about the moonflower that we are incapable of becoming.
Huh. That's interesting.
Because at this point in the album, we still haven't talked about the beginning, but we're starting midway through. You've taken flight. You've landed. You're asking to be remembered, and then you're telling us that there's no way that we can achieve this kind of glory because you've gone through this journey and you now know. Is that true? Because if for the sake of what it is, that sounds pretty incredible. That sounds like a conclusion.
True. No, it's clear my moments here are the last words. It's also like, I think the message in the last verse is like love. Like that's the conclusion. And it's like a realization that like that is what's important. It's like Cupid, finna aim bows at your ankles. Cupid's finna aim bows at your ankles while you're sitting still, like a fear of falling in love. Wonder will Achilles heal? What's it deal like? Like how do you like dealing together? Have you ever put up with that real life? Like have you ever struggled alone in the cold? Can't even imagine what it feel like hanging on for dear life. Fear like phobias, beer might sober you. Real light glows when it feels like hope isn't near. Eyes closed, I appear. I'm hoping it's clear. Our moment is here. And that ends.
So what I'm getting from that is you could do all this for yourself. If you don't have love, it's meaningless.
Exactly.
So is the next album going to be a love album? Oh, that's pretty cool.
I was saying that NFiNiT is going to be my last rap album, which at first I was really scared to say, but like you can also like you can kind of finesse that statement a little bit. Like you can make rap samples and features, but like I'm really like I want to see if I can play this. I waited so long time, taking stronger men. The wise have shown that it's harder to go back. Time's only way through.
You wrote that?
Well, I haven't. It's not written yet. But
Did you write that?
yeah, it's
Wow, that's really good.
It's all. Thank you, Mom. But, yeah. I'm not my mom's house.
You told the world.
Yeah, no.
No, I just think it's exciting that you're becoming clear, but I think it's also important to admit this stuff to yourself in the process. You know what I mean? Because you sit in here and you play guitar for 4 to 5 hours every day, and everyone's just supposed to assume that they already know. But if you don't know first and foremost enough to tell us, then you can't assume that anybody else is aware.
So, that's just me. The journeys of NliteN a live stream.
Or just, communicate.
Yeah, or just that's all in there. I guess it's in there for me too. I'm like a big. You've heard of like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's a big thing that I believe in.
Big step forwards for sure. So the first track on the album is Safe Travels to Heaven. And where did that come from?
Safe Travels to Heaven is... That's the intro. That's like the... Yeah, it's the intro. What do you mean, where did it come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I wrote it? Pouring out my heart and try to find answers. Yeah, that's just like my explorative mind. That's just like.
Where's the time frame? How old are you?
22.
22. When did you write that song?
I wrote that sophomore year of college, so I wrote that when I was 19, 20. 20. It was winter.
Where was your mind?
I was just I was exploring independence. Like freshman year was like as much a continuation of high school and like being a very dependent person, and like I guess my brain chemically was still kind of going through what it means to be independent. That continued through like junior year, but I was just trying to find answers in myself. Like even in music, before that point, like this project Drive is the first single that I had. Like I made Supernova with Swan, and then
Swan is Black Swan, Food for Art,
yeah.
Barcelona-based arts collective.
Yeah.
Friend of the family.
Friend of the family. But yeah, so and then I made Safe Travels was originally named. No, that's been Safe Travels. Remember Me was originally named Fancy. But
because it's a Alina Perez
sample.
Okay.
Fancy. But
So Safe Travels to Heaven came from kind of letting everything else go and focusing on upwards.
yeah, and I was still in a very all the songs I made up to that point were very pretty straightforward, just like Public Enemy, revolutionary stuff. Like there's like a line in there that's like shooting in the gym, but the only ones we killing is ourselves, and that was like a reference to black people playing basketball.
Wait, this is track one.
It's track one.
Okay.
Yeah, shooting in the gym. Yeah, that's like shooting in the gym. Like let's get that basketball scholarship, but the only ones we killing, like we ain't really killing anybody in these one-on-ones. We're killing each other out here.
So where are we all going? Like where's the culture headed?
Yeah.
So you're saying that the first track on the album, you're talking to African Americans about the journey to heaven.
But I like.
That's deep.
That's deep.
If that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's always. I think the issue I have is it's all as deep as.
No, dude. If what you're saying is fact, when you do it like this, when you say it like that, that's honesty.
Yeah.
That's what people come to remember. And then when you say something different later on down the line, people remember what you said before and go, "Huh, but didn't you say?" Because what you're saying, that's an entirely different approach to rap music. Rappers are not appealing to their communities. They're telling the rest of the world what's going on in their communities, which is not necessarily the lightest stuff or the easiest stuff to digest. You're saying that there's a people that are searching for a heaven that they're not able to find. That's deep. That's incredible. Is that what you're saying, or am I just making that up? Am I putting words in your mouth? Nah, you're good. Okay, what's the second track? How do you follow that up?
Dirty Water, which is like, I guess, like in title, it's an homage to Boston. Like, yeah, that song's the most like me participating in the world. Like me, it's like talking about selling CDs and talking about like handing, like, you can see it in my flame, you can see it in my fire, like look at me, wrap it up in cellophane, then I sell it to a fan, like cellophane, like the plastic wrap on the CD. See the bidding getting big, give it to the biggest buyer. It's like me very much participating in like the culture, and participating in music sales and distribution and all that, all the fun junky stuff. But I think it needs to, like, those are things that need to be said. It starts off like.
Where does the Dirty Water part come in?
Dirty Water is the hook. That's like, I know you love that dirty water. It's like.
So what are you saying about the pursuit? That it's like that it's fruitless?
I guess that's like my tone. I never say it. I don't think I ever say it specifically.
But the song is called Dirty Water. It's one of the most popular tracks in the album, but no one really knows why.
Why is it called Dirty Water?
Yeah, well, because you're saying like this is how you're participating in the culture. This is your give back, but the name of the song is Dirty Water.
I just like it's easy to do that. I think even from the beginning, like the first rap song I made was like not even to be like boisterous or whatever the word is. Like rapping is not difficult. That's why so many people do it. Like at one point I'm like talking about like passing it like I'm Brett Favre. Like passing it like I'm Brett Favre with my left arm. Like it's not difficult to do any of this stuff. Like it's very...
Wait. So you're saying it's not difficult to be a rapper or an artist, and you're saying it's not difficult to be a football player?
No, no.
Why is the song titled "Dirty Water"? Does that have anything to do with consistency?
Dirty Water is what we are based on top of. That's what Boston is based on top of, where I was born and raised. Like we have like we all feel the need to like represent it, but like dirty water is dirty water. You can't drink it. You can't swim in it. Like,
So that connects back to rap culture.
yeah.
So is that why you're choosing not to be a rapper anymore?
I think choosing not to be a rapper anymore.
You said this will be NFiNiT will be the last rap album that you release as NliteN.
I think I'll always be a rapper. I think I'll always make rap music, but
Because it's easy?
I enjoy doing it. Like freestyling was how I got into rapping, and freestyle was how I got into like formal expression. Like I never wrote, I never read, I never did any of that before. I never researched. Like will I rap again?
Yeah, you said you would on features and all types of like stuff. But this is your official last rap album?
I think I've built a community around rap.
Are you tired of the culture? This is just you being honest.
Yeah. I gotta think about it. I'm tired of the culture.
Or do you feel yourself drawing away from the culture?
I don't know.
All right. I mean, this, you don't. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm trying to process it. You know, kind of like you're trying to process it. What's the next song?
Drive.
Drive. What's Drive about?
Drive is about motivating.
And that was produced by Jesse Wellborn out of Amherst, Massachusetts.
Drive is like that subconscious voice in your head that's like, what are you doing, not doing? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about it. Did I say words on top of it? Yeah.
So what's the song about?
Drive is about motivation. Drive is motivation.
Despite being like because you're enamored with the culture, or because you're trying to free yourself of the culture?
Drive is about motivation.
Because at the end of the album, you're saying that you release yourself of the music to fly, to land, to be remembered, and then to find a moonflower. But it seems like it gets kind of confusing.
Been exploring the flows.
Yeah.
Sea flows, but my sonar's broken from the depths I rose. Putting thorns from my side and thorn on the side. No form, but I'm going for the ride.
It sounds like retribution more than motivation.
See the fork in the road, pick it up, take a bite. I ain't got to decide if it's left or it's right. Just hop in the whip and then put it in. No, drive is me in space trying to find a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, drive is saying, like, you could sit here in this vast nothingness and do nothing in it because you know that, like, it is.
It's an escape.
It's all.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like an escape.
No, not escape.
That's one of the more popular songs too.
Yeah, I don't think it's an escape. I think it's a. It's like a verb. It's like go, do, act, create. Like it's a big old verb song.
But why is it important to you? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because it sounds like the end is important because it's a conclusion that you finally come to, but it doesn't sound like 3 songs in we'll ever make it to the end. And if that's how you were feeling when you were recording it, that's even more worrisome. You know what I mean? As far as like your audience goes, people that respect the culture, people that love rap music, people that think it will never die because it survives so much and it means so much to so many people. someone like you who wants to be heralded as a maven of rap music or the rap community who can't seem to like, because the follow through is so important.
Yeah, well, the rap music will die.
So how does that contest to drive? Why would you write a song about being motivated by rap if the culture is set to die?
No, I think drive is more general than just rap music. Well, every culture is set to die. Like, literally, like that's just the way of time. Like, much like people don't live forever, eventually there will not be a person who will be able to continue the word of some art form, some culture, point blank, period.
So it's about living in the moment until our inevitable.
Yeah, it's about
demise.
it's about being in this present moment and having to make decisions about how to live and how to act, and then acting on what that means to you. Like, just put it right.
So why'd you call it drive and not demise? Or we're all gonna die.
Because preach positivity. Like, because there's no need to be negative in your existence. Like, it's just not healthy. It's like just not a healthy thing.
So you're saying that you're not a negative person?
Well, I have been negative, and I have shown myself, like, I've really preached and practiced neutrality and not being too high and too low, but that's also not being present, because life takes you on highs and takes you on lows, and being present is like existing in all of the highs and lows. But like, practicing positivity is something that can make your whole experience of life just more. Yeah.
Okay. What's the next song?
The next song is.
Okay. What is that about? That's the like kind of like the climax of the album.
Getaway is the climax.
Or it's the segue from
that's
chasing, realizing to
that's track 4.
Jumping, skipping, falling in love.
Yeah, Getaway is a feeling. And I think Getaway is a feeling that we can all like put a face on.
Because it doesn't sound like a vacation. You know what I mean?
It's not. It's like, yeah, man. And Getaway is the track that after I made the project, I've been like quoting it in moments and feelings all the time. Like, things will happen like, yo, Jordan, like, what are you gonna do after college? And I'm like, I really got to go to California. I need to get away. But like, I don't think.
What's in California?
I don't think California is like the getaway. I think California is just like the closest thing.
Wait, what's in California?
What's in California?
Yeah, what are you hoping to find in California? Because you've been in Boston your whole life, right?
Yeah, California is everything. Since I was like 3 years old in kindergarten, I've always said like, yo, I'm gonna move to California. I'd never been, and the first time I went was for a college course in the high school, and it just feels. It's the G-string.
Yeah, it feels like a G-string. That doesn't sound comfortable at all.
I was playing the D, but I don't know. Yeah, California is just, it's like, the landscape is something that I've like been drawn to.
You played tennis, didn't you?
Yeah,
You gonna play some tennis in California?
possibly.
Okay, so, well, thank you for sitting with me. You know, I feel like this has been more beneficial to me than it has been to you.
I think it's been super beneficial.
Because I'll sit in the car and literally be vibing out like, this is so lit. But I won't understand why, you know what I mean?
True.
And then I'll talk to you and it'll literally just be about like chasing paper and not wanting to chase paper and chasing paper and not wanting to chase paper. I'm like, wait, I don't get it. Why do I like this music if this dude has no idea what he's talking about? But obviously you do have an idea what you're talking about. You have a lot to say. You know what I mean? I think that's super important. I do want to ask you, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the right questions definitely help.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people, yeah, that's like, I think that's part of the love, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think only you can ask those questions because you're seeing the trajectory of things, and it's like, if this kid is confused, he's going to get damaged.
True.
You have to love someone to ask the questions that will, like, put the put the damaging, disappointing out in the air.
Right. When someone gets involved with a new artist that they really fuck with, it means that they see their whole journey before the artist even sees it. And I think a true leader in rap or otherwise in culture, like you said, society, it's important to know the artist because you know that you're in safe hands when you listen to their music. You know you're not going to get your heart broken.
True.
You know what I mean? But I did want to ask you about how you perceive freedom, because a lot of times in today's culture, we are totally about the artist being totally free. Like, Chance the Rapper can release a Grammy Award-winning album without ever signing a record deal or putting his name on a contract, you know? That's the testimony of a strong leader. That's testimony of a strong rapper. That's testimony of a strong artist and a strong man all around. How do you contest? Because I feel like a lot of artists that are going to get to know you as you continue to grow and blossom and bloom, your strength that they're going to remember who they were and who the old rappers were and how we all came upon the knowledge that we typically like know and throw away. You know what I mean? The stuff that we can acknowledge as fact because we've heard it so many times, but we don't know the honest truth about it because we haven't seen a new artist come up in the game like you are. You know what I mean? So how do you speak to that, to your independence as an artist and moving forward, knowing that you have full control of your own career and whatever happens to you?
I think freedom is an aim. Like, I think my biggest moment and feeling of breakthrough was in the idea that we could all live freely. And I got really excited and I went into my brother's coffee shop and was like super eager to share that. But yeah, I mean, free is
Not for everyone, though.
yeah. Free ought to be a way of life. It's got something to do with like music, love.
I think when we all
so corny.
when we know what our freedom is as people and as artists, that's enlightenment.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a promise that you can make to your audience, that you're going to set them free. You know what I mean? And follow up on that. For sure. Thank you for sitting with me. This is JCT. This is NliteN. Great to meet you again, formally. And good luck with everything.